Everyone, I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 26 of my 31 favorite concept albums of all time. That's right, we're looking back to those albums that follow a central theme or storyline. Maybe it's lyrically, maybe it's musically, maybe it's just the album is inspired by a certain work, right? Or maybe it's something that they wrote, tells a story. All sorts of concept albums, all sorts of different concept albums across all sorts of different genres. We're going to count down to our number one favorites, our top favorite, which will be on the 31st, the last day of 2025. But today, for pick number 26, this is an album that was released April 25th, 1975, recorded at Island and Decca Studios in London, England, produced by David Hitchcock for Decca Records. Talking about The Snow Goose by Camel. So here's an interesting one. First one all month where the concept is presented in an all instrumental format. There are no lyrics here, right? None whatsoever. So here the band Camel, inspired by a book. It's actually a novella called The Snow Goose, which was written by Paul Gallico. And what they have done is they've turned this little novella, the storyline of the Snow Goose, and they have turned it into a symphonic progressive rock, kind of like almost like classical overture type of thing. Very interesting. So again, if you've never read the novella, it's not a big deal, right? Because basically what they're doing is they're taking, kind of like themes from the book, the storyline, and they're adapting the music to kind of go along with that central storyline theme. So this is, it's not my favorite Camel album. It's one of my favorite Camel albums. But this is a amazing work that so many people love. For many, many people, this is the magnum opus from Camel. 43 minutes long, and some great musical passages and pieces on here. And again, it kind of plays like a symphony, pretty much. So the band at the time comprised of Andrew Latimer, of course, on electric and acoustic guitars and flute. The great Peter Bardens on all sorts of keyboards, specifically piano, electric piano, Mini Moog, Arp Odyssey, pipe organ. Doug Ferguson on bass, and Andy Ward on drums and percussion, with David Bedford helping things with the orchestral arrangements. Like I said, this plays like a classical piece done by a prog rock band. Very, very cool. And there's lots of tracks on here. There's 16 in total across the entire album. Some of them are longer, many of them are shorter. There's a lot of shorter little interlude pieces. Probably my favorite track on here is Ryder, who's the main character in this storyline. Ryder Goes to Town, for me, is amazing. There's just some great lyrical, emotional, and melodic guitar soloing from Latimer on this record, across all these Camel albums specifically. But Pete Bardens is, to me, as great as Latimer is. I think Pete Bardens was the kind of the secret ingredient in the sauce in this band. And I think when he left the band, I think a little something was missing. The two of them working together really did some magic on here. La Princesse Perdue is another fantastic piece. Dunkirk is also amazing on here. Flight of the Snow Goose is really cool. It's just it flows really, really nicely. It's very, very melodic. I have often said over the years that I appreciate when Camel get a little bit more aggressive, right? This is a very tranquil album overall. There are some, like I said, it is symphonic for sure. But they have, there's no real rockin' moments on here for the most part, but just some splendid progressive rock inspired by classical music. It's romantic, it's melodic, it's kind of all these things, and really, really good stuff. So and yeah, the Snow Goose itself is also another great piece. But it's one of those things where you can maybe pull out a track or two that stand on their own, but really this album needs to be listened to from start to finish as a whole. That's the way you really kind of appreciate this. So yeah, really, really good stuff. And this album made it to number 162 on the U.S. Billboard charts. Didn't chart all that high. Camel were never a big selling band here. It did make it to number 22 over in the UK, and in fact, this album went silver and sold 60,000 units. That's pretty significant over in the UK. So definitely pretty significant. And yeah, it's been looked at over time as one of the great prog rock albums ever released, for a reason. It's just pretty special. Again, you don't see too often a concept album coming in the form of an instrumental work, right? But I think they really pull it off. And yeah, so that's my pick for today. And if you have their live album, you can hear them perform this in its entirety, which is pretty cool. I do want to show some live shots from the band, which I think are really cool. They had a very, very cool look to them. So very cool band, Camel. One of the great kind of second tier prog rock bands. You have your upper echelon bands, your Yes, Genesis, ELP, Jethro Tull, Pink Floyd, right? Then you've got Camel and Van de Graaff Generator and Gentle Giant and Focus and some of those bands that were the second tier. Camel, very, very majestic, grand music, very classy music. Maybe underappreciated by some, but beloved by many. So that's my pick for today. Let us know what you think of the Snow Goose in the comments below, as well as your pick for today. And we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. They're all down below. Thanks to all of you who do contribute. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I'm Pete Pardo. Coming up on the channel, we have a few episodes of album homework assignment coming at you later today. So stay tuned for that. We've got ranking the albums of Hellstar tomorrow. We'll be joined by John Gaffney and Rich Catino, a great, great U.S. metal band who have been around since the 80s. They've got 10 albums. We're going to rank them as we like them. That's coming up later today, so stay tuned for that. I'm sorry, I'm taping that today, but it's coming up tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow morning for that. And lots more. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.